colors of nature with the graceful fibers, creating the soothing sense of contentment known as Lisa Archer Silks. Please join me in welcoming Miss Georgine Forgatch.
Am I on? I am. Sure. Is it too loud?
No.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Donna, for coming into my studio and me sharing my art with you. I can talk about my art. I can talk about my procedures and how I do my art. This is totally out of my realm. Speaking to a spiritual group, I am very spiritual, but this is just a different type of talk for me. So, anyway, I will explain my name because I'm sure everybody is confused. Georgine is my first name, George, my father, Jean, my grandmother, Lisa was my great-grandmother, Archer, my grandfather was Archie, so my mother named me Archer, and so hence my name, Georgine Lisa Archer. I'm the youngest of 5 of us, and my mother, I think, wanted to make sure she had all the names combined into me. So that's the story of my name. I do go by hey you or whatever is comfortable, that's fine. So my meditative art of my silk journey. So let me paint a picture, if you will, of where we lived in New Jersey. We were on 100 acres. We were caretakers for a doctor who never came to the property. I mean, never. He lived in the city, and we maintained his 100 acres. He had a 7-acre bass pond, and of course we had ducks and geese and bass, and you name it, we had a multitude of wildlife. It was lovely. So we lived there for 12 years, and it was heaven. In 1995, I gifted a wedding canopy, which is a canopy is a chuppah, which is Jewish people get married under. It represents their first home. So I created this piece and gifted it to the couple. There were 300 people at the wedding, and I started a business. So I was sort of the Christian Gentile in this Jewish business. And my business was very successful. I went to shows to show my wares, and I also, a lot of my pieces went all over the world, really. They would contact me, I would paint their silk pieces, put it all together, mail it, and then that's how that came about. So that was going along very well. And I did this on our property. I had a studio in our downstairs family room, which I set up as a studio and did that for many years until 1998. So in 1998, that's when all things changed. So in May of 1998, I remember, now you have to remember, back east is very humid, hot. It's miserable, really. Anyway, I got up one night and went to get a drink of water in the kitchen. And it was very strange, but I saw my grandmother sitting in the living room. It was like this vision, sitting in the living room and waving to me. And I was half asleep and got my drink of water, went back to bed. And then the next morning, I told my husband, I said, you're going to think I'm really crazy, but I saw this vision of my grandmother sitting in the chair that she always sat in when she visited, waving at me. And I didn't think anything of it. I just kind of like, well, okay, that's just what happens when you miss people and, you know, I don't know, you think about them a lot. So I let that go. And then that was in May of 1998. So June of 1998, which is really tragic, we were sleeping. And I felt this push, literally. It was like, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. And I literally felt this push. And I jumped up. And when I jumped up, my whole bedroom was smoke. And I thought, oh my God, what's happening? So I opened the door, and of course, I don't know if any of you know that movie Backdraft, but when you have a window open and you have your door shut and you open a door, well, flames come up. So that's what happened. I opened the door, and literally it was engulfed in flames. We were on the upstairs level. And so I dragged my husband off the bed because he was waking up. And so we finally ran out of the house, but literally had to run through the flames. So that was pretty tragic. I mean, the fire chief said that 10 more minutes and we would have been history, and nobody would have known that we were there until. So anyway, it was kind of a wake-up call because, you know, my husband has a landscape company. I was doing my wedding canopies. Things were kind of chugging along and getting a little hectic. But after this happened, we took a stand back and looked at our life and said, wow, you know, something's got to change here. So anyway, the doctor did not want, we had no house, we had nothing. Literally, we lost everything. We lost a couple of animals that were in the house and all that. But our lives were saved. And I still believe my grandmother did that. I still believe it to this day. We lived on the property in the doctor's apartment in his house for 2 years. And I kept going back and forth. I got a job at a bank because I lost all my silk. My whole business was totally destroyed. And so I worked at a bank, which I hated. I felt like a caged animal in this little tiny bank where I knew everyone. It was a country bank, but so I worked there for quite some time. And then my husband finally said, you know, let's take a trip out to Montana. Let's go visit your brother because he's been here for many, many years. And we kind of knew the area. So we took a trip. And within a month, we bought a house. And it was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? We're leaving New Jersey to move to Montana, leaving all my friends, everything. But anyway, we did the geographical change. So going back, before we moved here, actually, I kind of missed a little step here. But ironically, on June 8th in 1992, 6 years before our house fire, was the same day, that was our house fire, it was June 8th, 1998. 6 years before our house fire, my grandmother passed away. And so there's there's so many connections about the fact that I believe she woke us up, and the fact that, gosh, she died on the same day, except in 1992. So I thought that was kind of, I call it divine intervention. That's just my words for it. Anyway, we were 2 years on the property. We bought a house out here. And then, you know, we kind of settled in, and I was trying to figure out, what do I want to do now while I'm here in Montana? So, the reason why I brought these props is because these are very important pieces to me. I do sell them now, but I mean, this was the vision that I had, pardon me, when I walked our dogs along the Bitterroot River in July, because we moved here in July of '01. And so I saw this vision of feathers floating in an eddy on the Bitterroot River. The sun was shining, and it was like one of those kind of aha moments. You see this vision, and you think to yourself, well, gosh, what could I do with this? So a year after I saw this, I thought, you know what? I'm going to start painting on silk again. So I bought some silk and made 5 scarves, took it to the farmer's market. I thought I was hot. Anyway, I sold all 5. And so I felt like I was onto something, and I made a couple more. And hence, this is my feather design from, you know, I've sold many, many pieces like this. So that's my design from 2002, let's say, because it took me about a year to come up with what I wanted to portray, but that's kind of my vision of feathers. Better? It's not better. So, let's see, where I'm at. I'm just trying to give you kind of an overall picture of how I came about my feathers and the meanings for me, and then how I came up with my dream catcher, which is really quite an important piece for me that I created, because it's in memory of my mom. She came and lived with us for several years, and I was taking her to dialysis twice a week, and it was hard. It was hard. She would have been 95. She was a spitfire. She always told me to follow my dreams, which I have followed my dreams. So she would go to shows with me and support me and do all my bookkeeping and everything that moms do. I was very close to her. So during dialysis, she started to get very frail. And I kind of saw the fact that, you know, her mind was good, but her body was sort of breaking down. Anyway, she ended up falling in the bathroom, which was very tragic, and apparently had some brain, she injured her brain. And so knowing my mother would not want anything to keep her going, so we decided to, you know, that was it. There was not going to be any thing to keep her alive, because there was really nothing that they could do. So we were in St. Pat's, and this lady came in. I call her the Angel Harp Lady, because she came in. We were there for 3 days. She came in and she said, "Can I play some music for your mom and you?" And I said, "Well, sure, but I really wish I could bring her home." And she said, "Well, why don't you?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. You know, I didn't know the procedure of someone being in the hospital, because I've never experienced someone dying or getting ready to die in a hospital. So she said, well, let me get back with you. So within 3 hours, we had my mother en route to her bedroom, which was really a blessing. Because I just didn't want her I wanted her to be comfortable and be in her own environment. So we brought her home, and she had all her family around. It was really quite lovely, if I must say. I mean, she was comfortable. And so she had passed away about a week after we brought her home. And I remember the night, it was a full moon, full blood moon. It was gorgeous. And I remember opening the windows, and that was it. I said to her, you need to go. You just need to go. And I just kept staring out at that blood moon, and it just was such a beautiful vision, really, a beautiful vision. It was a beautiful night, and I'm happy for the way, I miss my mom, but I'm happy for the way that it turned out. So, anyway, 6 months after Mom passed, she always had this, and I put it up there, this silly little dream catcher over her bed. It's kind of a cheapy little thing. But she always believed in, the dreams, because the Native Americans believed that when you have bad dreams, the dreams get caught up in this whole web, and the good dreams go through the center, and they are allowed to escape. So I came into my studio one day, and I didn't even have the dream catcher. I just was like, I've got to do this. Something told me I have to do this dream catcher. So anyway, so that's my honor to my mom for her dream catcher. And I brought it here for everyone to see because it's really special to me. Somebody wanted to buy it, and I really made a big, big price on it, and they never got back to me. So, I don't think I can sell it. It's just very precious to me. So, moving forward, there's another person in my life who became my sister, mentor, friend, angel. When I was going through the dialysis with Mom, this woman happened to come into my studio. This is when I was over in Stevensville. I had an antique store, and my studio was in the back. And she would come in and buy certain things, and we became friends. We became like this friend that I knew for forever. It was like we could start a conversation, and it was almost as if we knew each other for a long time. And so she really was a good promoter of my silk. And she invited me to go on a cruise, a 3-day cruise. So, because I'd never been on a cruise. And we went on this cruise, and it was just, we flew out of Canada, and we came down through Oregon and San Francisco. It was 3 days. But during the 3 days, we had dinner one night, and she said, why don't you decide to paint your silk on cruise ships? I think it could be a really good avenue for you, and it'll give you an opportunity to travel, and it just might open up something, totally different. So we did it, and we sat at dinner, and we called it Silks at Sea. And I did I did the one with her, I did one to Alaska, and I did one to Mexico. This past year, we were supposed to go to Panama Canal, but unfortunately, my friend passed in August of last year, and it was pretty traumatic for me because she, like I said, she was pushed me along, and flew back and forth to San Diego to be with her, and I actually was with her when she passed. So, hence, this is why I made my Angel series. So this is in memory of Connie, and I call it my Angel series, Connie #1. And so, in closing my journey, which I'm really glad I got through this. I didn't think I would get through this, because writing your journey is really, it's hard. It's hard, but thank you all for listening to the way I came about, my journey. And for me, painting on silk is therapeutic. And so everything I do when I paint my pieces, there's a part of my heart. So, I think that's probably all I have to say about my journey.